Hey guys, Ryan from DoHardMoney.com coming to you with a Just Ask Ryan question of the day. And today's question is, how much does it cost to repair a concrete foundation? Now, showing you a deal. This is a deal we did in Pooler, Georgia. We liked how cute this house was. We decided to put it on the wall. Okay, so let's talk about this. Concrete foundations vary based upon where in the country you're at. So like in Texas, your foundation, if you don't water it, depending upon where you're at in Texas, it's going to break. And that's going to need some repairs. Now, lots of times those repairs are a few $1,000s, maybe up to $5,000. It's nothing major. However, in other places like mountainous regions, like in Utah where I live, if you're dealing with concrete foundation, you've got to do a repair on it, it can get pretty serious. They do what's called helical piers, where they actually dig to the side of the house by where the concrete foundation comes down. Then they actually have to dig underneath it, and then they put piers underneath it, and then they crank the piers up that go down into the ground deeper to give support to the foundation, the concrete that's already there. It's a pretty nasty process, and in the meantime of doing that, you can have problems with the house cracking, you can have problems with the foundation cracking, so it can be kind of a mess. In the end, for concrete foundations or foundations in general, if it's a major foundation problem, over like $5,000, it's not something that I like to deal with. There are people that like to deal with those. I don't recommend them, especially if it's your first investment. Now, if it needs to have some minor repairs and it's a few $1,000s, I wouldn't be overly concerned about it. But with concrete foundations, the issue is, number one, you don't want like your just average general contractor doing the work on that. You've got to have a structural engineer that looks at the property, and the structural engineer is going to look at the property and make some determination as to the specifications, as to the work that needs to be done. So basically what they do is think of like an architect. They basically go out to the property and they're going to say, this is what needs to be fixed, this is how it needs to be fixed, and they give those plans to the general contractor who can then do the work. But when you're dealing with foundations, you want to make sure you're using a structural engineer, and you want to make sure you're dealing with a foundation expert, somebody that deals with foundations day in and day out. One of the things you got to realize is not every general contractor is created equal, meaning they don't know how to do foundations. They may think they do, but they don't do them day in and day out. So a concrete specialist, a foundation specialist, is who you're going to want to talk to when you're dealing with this type of stuff. Now, there's different types of repairs. There's cracks, there's helical piers, as we've talked about. The cracks can be not a big deal or could be a big deal depending upon the situation, and that's why you're going to want to make sure that you're dealing with a specialist in that matter. Now, if it's something minor, like you say, under $5,000, consider doing it. If it's more, it could be a problem. You could get some minor cracks done for a few $100s where they're just kind of filling it in, but that's not going to be dealing with a major foundation issue. So my rule of thumb, again, if it's under $5,000, it's worth looking at, but you got to get an expert. If it's more than $5,000 worth of foundation repairs, I wouldn't mess with it. And if it's helical piers, I really don't like dealing with helical piers. It's just, a lot can go wrong, and it can be expensive, and it's not something that I really recommend. That said, if you are interested, I've got a video on what is a full rehab property. I will put that on here, and I will link it in the description below, as well as a blog on who is responsible for lender required repairs. So you can see that. I will link that down in the comments below as well, so you can check out that video. And if you have liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me know how you're enjoying these and really motivates me to make more videos, and I appreciate that. I look at that on a regular basis. Now, if you want some help in real estate investing, that could be wholesaling, that could be fix and flip, that could be rental properties, that could be BRRRR. If you'd like help on any of these matters, finding properties, valuing properties, project management, money to make the deals happen, check us out over at DoHardMoney.com. DoHardMoney.com, you can find us. We've got all kinds of information, software, tools, resources to help you be better and more successful as a real estate investor, not to mention the money to help you go along the way. Otherwise, make it a very profitable day, and bye for now.